Good afternoon, everyone. I now call this agenda meeting of the Chattanooga City Council Tuesday, October the 21st, 2025 to order. Thank you for being with us, whether you are here in person or joining us online. The Pledge of Allegiance and Invocation will be led by Councilman Harvey. Please stand.
Show me the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Join me for a quick prayer. Lord, we just thank you for this opportunity to be together, to serve our fellow Chattanoogans. Lord, we just want to take this moment to thank you for this beautiful city that you've given us and all the wonderful people that make up our city here in Chattanooga. I ask you to bless this time together, bless us as council members to have the strength, tools, and wisdom to make the best decisions for the city of Chattanooga that we can. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilman Harvey. We do not have a special presentation today, so to speak, but I would like for Councilwoman Dolly to please stand. So Councilwoman Dolly had a birthday. So we want to tell her happy birthday. Thank you. Yes, you know, we have to celebrate our council family birthdays.
29
So,
again?
Happy birthday to you.
29?
44, baby.
Oh,
And looking mighty fine. Okay, thank you so much. Council family, you have received the minutes from our last meeting. Are there any corrections? If so, please hit your light. Okay, seeing none, may I have a motion on the proof of the minutes?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion with a proper second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Then the minutes are stands approved as submitted. All right, let's take a look at our agenda for today. Ordinances on the final reading. If you have any questions or concerns, please hit your light. Wastewater, planning. Ordinance on the first reading, we only have one. But if there's any questions or comments, please hit your light. I do have one. Councilman Elliott.
Yes, ma'am. Under the city attorney's office, can we give some backstory on the billing and charges for district records? Is this you, Phil, or someone else?
Yes, I'd be glad. Chris was at least getting ready to come up as well, but this ordinance here is a provision in the city code that provides for updates for the record charges based upon the, I guess, the indexing that is allowed in the city code here. And it comes up, supposed to be annually on here for a review based upon, what's the consumer price index increase? Is that how it goes up?
It's the Bureau of Labor Statistics annual inflation rate.
Okay. So there's an inflation rate kicked into the ordinance itself, and it's increasing the amounts of those daytime tows only for district record rates here to those numbers that are up on the screen right now.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And this is required by the ordinance that council passed, I believe unanimously in 2023, that guaranteed this annual increase at that time.
Can I ask, are we allowed, we can change these at any time? Correct?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I think okay. Thanks, Chris.
Just have to do another ordinance amendment. Yes, you
Okay.
can.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, you good?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, council family, if we would take a look at resolutions. Under the mayor's office, office of city attorney, any questions or comments? Is that you? Are you still, Councilman Elliott, are you?
No,
done?
that's Ola.
Oh, okay. Questions or comment, please hit your light on the wastewater. Police. Any questions or concerns? All right. Seeing none, take a look at purchases for today. Okay. Councilman Elliott.
Yes, ma'am. I'm looking at technology services. We have Gartner consulting for IT and research purposes. Can somebody give us a little bit more context on this one?
Hi, Councilman. Gerald Neal, CIO. So Gartner is the leading third-party consultancy, not to do work here in the city, but to provide us research and other technical information about the kinds of decisions we want to make about technology here in the city. So across a range of things, all the kinds of hardware that we buy, all the kinds of software that we might be considering, the way we might go after a particular improvement area. So they're known globally as the best service of that type. And we use them to inform us so that we can make better decisions and make better use of our funds.
So pretty much, just so I understand, are we just kind of using it to kind of expand what is possible as we're looking to grow and change?
That would be one of the areas that we could look at for them. Also, so that their research can help inform our thinking about decisions we're making, where we want to grow, or about how to improve operations, or about how to streamline our spending with contracts and vendors. There's a range of services that they provide. It's in the form of research to us.
Okay, that helps.
Okay.
That helps. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
That's all, Madam Chair.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, council family, if you will please take a look at next week's proposed agenda. Any questions or comments, please hit your light. Councilman Elliott?
This is for next week. Are we, and I saw this is in our packet, are we gonna have a special presentation on some of these EIG changes? Or is this something that we can ask about now?
I think you can ask now.
Okay. So I understand we're doing a change in on-call and callback pay. What does that exactly look like for some of us who may be new to it, and just the broader community as a whole?
So happy to answer that. Mandy Green, COO. So that was during the budget amendment when we asked for approval for that. We had a $10 on-call, and we doubled that to $20. And then the standby pay, same, we doubled the amount.
So can you explain exactly how it works, Mandy?
So when someone is on-call, they were expected to respond to a call whenever something happens, if there's a need for them to come in. And so they essentially are housebound, right? They can't go out of town. They can't do anything that they could not be at work to do. And so that is their pay that they get on top of their regular pay for being on call.
And is it an hourly basis, or is it something that is provided on a daily basis?
I don't have it in front of me. I think it's by the day, $10 a day. And so it'd be $20 a day.
All right. It's $10 flat?
What'd you say?
$10 flat or $20
It was
flat?
$10 flat or $20 flat. It's not a lot.
All right, it's not a lot. Okay, well, I appreciate you at least
Yes,
providing context.
no problem. Any other questions?
Yes, I think you have, you changed your mind?
My question was.
Okay, then no.
Are we good?
Thank
All
you,
right,
Chief
thank you.
Green.
Thank you.
Are you good, Councilman Elliott?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You? Okay, Councilman Clark?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Oh, I got lost. Hold on. I'm under resolutions. I think it's resolutions. It's resolutions 9. I think this is District 6. So weird. But it mentions the amendment to the economic impact plan for the North River Commerce Center. Why does that say District?
That District 6 is
Six.
supposed to go page 4.
That's before the page before that. Yeah, but that 6 goes up under the page before.
Oh, okay. So question for the amendment, to the second amendment to the economic plan for the development of the North River Commerce Center Industrial Park. have we already discussed that, or just for educational purposes? Hello? Yeah.
Sharita.
She's coming.
Oh, thank you, Sheree. I didn't see you. I'm like,
Good afternoon, Council. Sheree Allen, Senior Advisor for Economic and Workforce Development. This council received a presentation on that at the last Economic Development Committee meeting. After that presentation, it then went to the IDB for a public hearing, which was held. It then went to County Commission for vote. County Commission approved it, and next week is vote for City Council.
thank you. Is that what we're referring to as the Northgate project? Like is this totally different? Am
It's
I
totally
complete-
different. This is
Okay.
the North
I
River
was like,
Commerce
what am
Center.
I doing? DuPont, so this is referred to as what?
North River Commerce Center,
Yeah, it's at DuPont Parkway.
At DuPont Parkway, thank you.
correct. So that's an existing TIF, and we're voting to make amendments to the already approved TIF.
Gotcha. Thank you so much. Just gotta make a note, because we're having active discussions about those, and I don't want to conflict the two. Okay, that's it, thank you.
Thank you.
Are you good, Councilman Cole?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Are you
Thank
sure?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Elliott?
No, that was the answer.
Oh, okay. All right, I was gonna tell you okay now, okay. All right, any questions or concerns on, next week's proposed agenda anymore? Okay, seeing none, let's please take a look at future considerations. If you have any questions or comments, hit the light, okay. Councilman Henderson?
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Attorney, the de-annexation of this, it looks like it's just one store. District 6 is, Councilwoman Burrs, you're, I guess, aware of,
The Chick-fil-A?
Yes, Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, they're,
And it's actually not the store itself, it's just a strip of land right next to the store that might involve, I think, their parking in
Yeah.
that area. So
It's-
that's really all it is, next to the Chick-fil-A. And
So-
that request has been made for a de-annexation. It's just to advertise the hearing will occur and y'all will hear.
does this leave a donut hole? I mean, in District 6, I can't imagine that you're close to a border anywhere.
It abuts the College Dale property. It
Yeah.
does not.
I didn't realize you went that far up.
Yeah, so you know where Cambridge Square is?
Yes.
So Cambridge Square is in District 6. So
Oh,
Chick-fil-A just has a piece of their development that's in the county. I mean, that's in the city. Everything else is in the county. It's kind of, it's gerrymandered up there a little.
okay.
Yeah.
That's when they drew the line. So I mean, I'm assuming you have no concerns or objections to the de-annexation?
Everything except for that slice in there, I think it's going to be parking. I believe I talked to the developer about it. It's about 2 months ago, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, you good?
I'm good.
Okay. Councilwoman Burrs?
That was just me responding to,
Oh, okay,
my apologies.
that's okay. Councilman Elliott?
Yes, I have a couple questions. The first being for, I think this is technically maybe an early learning question. I know we had an incident at, we're about to renew this lease for Avondale Head Start location. Do we have an update on repairs to that particular facility?
Good afternoon, Marcia Drake, Deputy Administrator for Early Learning. And so, yes, we do have an update. The air quality is acceptable for us currently to return on Monday. We will have another air quality test that was taken today, and we should have those results back on Thursday that will further actually indicate that we are ready to, or that we can open. We are still working with both of the insurance companies and for them to actually repair the room that was damaged during that fire. And so there's still some work to be done there. But what was really holding us up from reopening was the air quality. And so earlier today, we got indication that we could, because of the air quality, that it was okay for us to open on Monday.
Okay, thank you. Do we, are we paying for these repairs through the general fund or these through our Head Start grant?
Okay, the repairs, it's my understanding that, and I will double check on this, but it is my understanding that this is the insurance companies.
Insurance companies. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Drake. One more question, Madam Chair. It's under Public Works, item, sorry, I'm scrolling down. Parks, Public Works, and Wastewater. Item 4, it's our tri-party agreement with the city of Norfolk Southern and the developer. Can somebody give some context to what this particular project is and how's it gonna live out?
Good afternoon, Councilman. Thank you for your question.
Hello.
There are 2 agreements, and Phil, you can help me with the legal context, but 2 agreements to allow the access. This is a 2-part agreement for one access. One assigns responsibilities to a certain party. The second part is a separate agreement. And Phil, you want to give me the details on the second agreement?
Pretty simple. The first agreement is involving us and Norfolk Southern here specifically because the railway company wants to deal with the city regarding the access to those railroad crossings. These specific railroad crossings are involving the Manufacturers Road development of housing that is planning on trying to come in to that area. And so we are involved in the first agreement. Then the second agreement is requiring the folks that are going to be doing the development to spare the city from any cost associated with that project if we have to put in crossing arms or put in lighting or things in that regard, and they will be responsible for all that cost. So the city has the responsibility of making sure the intersection is available, but the property owners will be responsible for providing all of the cost for any arms or lighting that is needed to be done.
So are we just the middleman?
Yes.
Okay.
We're the middleman because we own the right-of-ways in that regard. It's a public right-of-way going in and out of it here, and we're responsible for maintaining it. The folks that own the property will bear all the costs associated
So
with it.
we will be responsible for maintaining after the fact?
Yes,
Is that
sir.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Are there certain, no, I don't answer that one. Okay.
Only what Norfolk Southern wishes to do in that regard. If there's a constant issue about it going up and down, that we would deal with it.
Okay, let me ask you this. Will we be held legally responsible if something goes awry with this particular crossing because we're the middleman?
It would normally, because the crossings themselves are public streets, we would be responsible just like we are for any other public access road here in the city. If it's a private access road, no.
Okay. And do we have any oversight over how this developer is building this access?
Yes.
Okay.
And Norfolk Southern does as well.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yes.
And Councilman, this is in relation to the 702 Manufacturers Road project you recently heard.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's all, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Council family, anyone else, any questions or concerns on the proposed agenda? Okay, seeing none, then, we do have a Budget and Finance Committee, and I will turn it over to Councilwoman Dotley.
On her birthday.
All right. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Okay, I call this Budget and Finance Committee meeting to order. Can I get approval on the minutes? Okay, minutes stand without objection. So today, we want to talk about a research initiative proposal. Ricky, if you can bring up the slides, please. Today, which is spearheaded by Councilman Henderson. Based on all of our budget discussions and things of that nature, we wanted to put together something that will be a tool for city council. And so with that, we have Dr. Acuff here with us today. right? Okay, because you wave your hands, you just look a little different, okay? You look a little different, okay? With that, so, council, I'm gonna go through this presentation. You should have received the full budget forecast, proposal in your packet. And, if Dr. Acuff could kind of make your way to this area over here, and then, I can go ahead and go through the presentation, and then Councilman Henderson, I just expect you to jump on in here, okay? I'll be looking for you like. And I just, again, want to thank Councilman Henderson for really, spearheading this and putting this together. This is something that we've wanted to see and wanted to do for quite some time, so. And thank you to the administration for meeting with us and bearing with us in gathering all these items. So, this budget research proposal, and you all again should have received it. It's, the title of it is Budget Projections and Fiscal Health Assessment for the City of Chattanooga. The purpose of it, the proposal is to provide revenue and expenditure projections, benchmarks, and measures of fiscal health, identify trends in peer cities, and offer policy recommendations to support Chattanooga's long-term growth and future financial planning for city council consideration. So as we go through this process, I'm sure Dr. Acuff will have some questions, and he'll detail out a little bit more for us. The next part, go to the scope of work. That's the third slide. Because I don't have a clicker up here, Rick. Yes, thank you so much. So Dr. Acuff, could you kind of go over kind of your scope of work and what you'll be doing for us?
Sure. Thank you, Council. So, Councilman Harrison, I briefly talked about this. I know some of these questions came up during the budget process over the spring and summer. But these are just kind of a basic outline of what we thought I think would be helpful. So I think as part of this process, obviously I want your feedback and we can amend this as needed. And also I can get any clarification I might need to help you all going forward. So one of them was a sort of a medium and longer term financial outlook. So doing some revenue and expenditure forecasting. So I know questions have come up, you know, not just this year, but in the past over, you know, aspects of, you know, covering expenditures related to growth, how much revenue is coming in. So this would look at essentially, you know, future projections for 5, 10 plus years out, based on all major revenue sources for the general fund. I'd also included the capital outlook, obviously, which is updated every year on a 5-year basis. But the 10-year forecast would include a longer term projection of what it would look like, you know, obviously based on current trends, none of us having a crystal ball, but being able to look a little bit further into the future. So that way, you know, both council and the administration, you know, hopefully could use this as a projection to plan in the longer range in terms of planning tax rates and things of that nature. Also, obviously, there was the questions came up of, you know, pensions and pay and all those things that you all discussed this summer. So as part of this, I would identify some peer cities and some benchmarks, look at some best practices of kind of, again, longer range planning of what it would look like, you know, particularly to fund pensions and things like that at a certain level. The other things that have come up were, you know, fiscal health assessments. So this is, you know, sort of the toolkit that Chairwoman Dodley had mentioned. So a number of cities do this, including Nashville and others, where there are certain, you know, standard benchmarks that other cities use that are part of the budgeting process year to year to help inform, you know, both the executive and legislative branches in terms of looking at trends in population growth and expenditures per capita and just all those types of things, debt ratios, et cetera. But also kind of pairing that with, again, the benchmarking of other cities that are our peer and aspirational cities. That way, it's not just in the context of our trends over time here in Chattanooga, but also looking at what other people in the region are doing. So as part of that process is I would identify some of our peer and aspirational cities and see how we compare to those, you know, again, in terms of pay, in terms of spending on certain initiatives, et cetera. So that's kind of the broad overview of what I'd propose, but I'm obviously happy to either answer any questions or get feedback from you all. I know there's maybe specific questions some of you might have. I don't have to necessarily put you on the spot, but, you know, this can be an iterative process where, you know, if you all have things over the next couple of weeks, months, whatever, we can kind of work those out.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Acuff. And if you go to the next slide, please. Rick, thank you so much. So the deliverables that Dr. Acuff at the moment will be doing, and like he said, if there are other, asks or questions, so some things we need to integrate, we can make that happen, which will include a comprehensive 5-year financial plan, a detailed 10-year forecast for the general fund, analysis of all fiduciary and pension funds, fiscal health assessment of Chattanooga, and policy recommendations for the city's financial future. And again, all this is to create a framework for us so that when we are doing the budget, we'll have the opportunity to look at the budget and compare it to some of the information that we have for this toolkit. Because right now, we have the information, the city, the administration does a good job of putting those things together, but sometimes they're in so many different separate places, so this would be an opportunity for us to put it in one comprehensive document. Even though I know, is Kevin here today? I am. Okay, I know you sent me the comprehensive report, but, but we'll be using that data as well. So the budget proposal, funding and timeline, and Dr. Acuff, please let me know if any of this is out of date, but I believe I got the updated information from Councilman Henderson. So Dr. Acuff will be performing the research. What it is this research project. The estimated cost is $16,800. He will have the draft ready by January the 6th, and then it will be funded through the city council's contractual services, which we have roughly $100,000 in that. So with that, I see you, Councilman Clark. I'm gonna skip over to Councilman Henderson and come back to you. Okay, Councilman Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think myself, like many of you, were concerned last budget season, I guess, with the frustration of, dealing with, sometimes we'll pass a tax increase, give pay raises, and then we'll forget about it for 4 years. And it seems like we need to take a little bit different and better approach. And I think, and when I contacted Dr. Acuff, that was, trying to anticipate future inflation, future growth, whatever that funding gap may be, whatever pay raises we need to take into consideration. And as Yogi Berra once said, it's hard to make predictions, especially about the future, but somehow we've got to figure out what we can anticipate, and so that we can address it year by year instead of waiting until, 4-year spans or 8-year spans, whatever the case may be. In doing a little bit of research, looking back at what tax increases have looked like over the past, since 1990, I think it seemed like every 4-year period there was about a 12% tax increase. So, those are the types of things that I think that at least I was looking for in the research by Dr. Acuff, in helping us to determine, a kind of, instead of just doing it year by year, looking out 5 years, or at least the length of our term that we have left, and trying to make some predictions about what we can expect inflation rates to be, what we can expect our growth to be, what we might look at as far as pay raises, since we are, heavy on payroll, on pay or salaries. The other thing is that I wanted to take a look at is, every time we give a pay increase to our fire and police, it does affect our pension fund and how much that is, how much it's funded. I think we went, from being this time, this budget season, we went from 64% funded, dropped down to 60% funded whenever we did give those pay raises. So I think we need to know, what pay raises, how that will affect our pension fund and contributions to that, not only with the fire and police, but with general fund pension as well. So those are the types of things that I wanted him to look at, and hopefully we'll be able to have it all in one place. And Madam Chair, you mentioned the report that Stan did. I thought it was interesting that he said this analysis should not be used as the only source of information to evaluate the financial condition of the city. So I think this gives us another look at the financial condition of the city, and hopefully will help us make a more informed decision when we start looking at budgetary items.
That's it, Councilman Henderson?
I'm good, thank you.
I agree. And so I have Councilman Elliott, but I'm gonna go back, Councilman Clark, if you would hit your light, and then I'll circle back around to you, Councilman
Did it
Elliott.
expire?
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, give me just a second, and then before you get started, let me ask, Dr. Acuff, did you want to respond at all to anything that was just said?
No, I mean, you know,
Okay.
I think we're on the same page. I think, you know, he and I chatted, so I think, you know, for the remaining council members,
Okay.
certainly getting y'all's input in.
Okay, could you go to the next slide, please, Rick? Thank you so much. No, we're done. I just wanted to make sure y'all saw just kind of what the ask is at the end of this, which is going to be, that we allocate these funds, we vote on this and allocate these funds for this research project and for Dr. Acuff to move forward. So at the end of this, that is the ask. The ask is, do we want to move forward with this project? Am I correct, Councilman Henderson? That's right. Okay, so we want to ask, do we want to move forward with this project? After the question and answer, we're getting ready to do we want to move forward with this project with the understanding that we will be able to adjust as we need to with Dr. Acuff? He's always been fantastic in making sure we can do that. So I just wanted to get to the end of that so that we all understand what is happening at the end, which will be a vote. Okay. All right, Councilman Clark, followed by Councilman Elliott.
Thank you, Chairwoman. That was actually my question. So we can expand his scope of work past January the 6th?
Yes, what I would recommend,
Okay.
however, is that if that scope of work does expand, maybe we update this amount to be maybe, I don't know, maybe 17.5 or something to that effect.
Yep, and this, to her point, Dr. Acuff, my concern is that because of how comprehensive things get after January 6th during January 6th, is that really
Just keep talking, just go on.
Sorry, I just had a
keep
trigger, sorry. I was like,
That's okay.
January 6th.
Yeah.
That was a Tuesday, so
Okay, sorry. I just had a minor trigger. Okay, anyway,
it's a
January
council
6th.
day, there's no
Yes.
meeting there.
Okay, thank you. After that date, you have put in your scope of work 84 hours for this research phase. Given the scope and sometimes the gravity of what we have to go through during budget season, will you come back in a consultant manner to, and I don't know, Councilman Hendricks, so we call each other by our first name, I get stuck. Should we expand that scope in those hours? I just think 84 hours seems a bit minimum for what I think that needs to be done, considering the fact that half of the council, including myself, are new. And given the scope and some of what he mentioned we went through last time, would it be appropriate to consider expanding the scope of those hours past 84, past January, with I guess a contingency after January the 6th to be like, hey, I need to come back and be with you all during the budget season? And that's my first question. Absolutely.
Sure, go right ahead. Councilman Elliott, I'm sorry. Okay, hit your light. Okay.
I just wanted to comment, he's doing it on a per hour. What we could do is approve an amount, maybe like up to $20,000. He's gonna work based on $200 an hour.
Right.
All we need to do is approve up to an amount that would, and I think that's a great
And
idea.
my preference is a blanket amount up to 20,000.
And we could certainly do that. That was
Okay.
just kind of him estimating the number of hours that he would have in this research.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Henderson. If that's an amendment, I'd like to propose up to 20,000. That's my first question. I've got two more.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, cool. Are you cool with that, Dr. Acuff?
Sure,
That
yeah,
blanket?
it's certainly something, I mean, sure, I'm open to that. Yeah, the initial budget proposal was for the report, and then I think it was, you know, a few hours built into presentations and meeting with you all, et
I think
cetera,
we're
et
gonna need you
cetera.
after the report. I think some money should be built in. Otherwise, we'd have to come back and revisit after January 6th.
Right.
Okay, all right.
Sure.
My second question is, first of all, I really like this because we don't have this on the legislative side. But my question is that with this, as you assess the financial health, what is the cross-sector collaboration with the administration? Like, what does that work look like? I know you mentioned something about audit. I know we do, is that the same thing we do once a year with Stan? Is that what you're referring? But Stan is recommending that it's okay to bring on additional input. Is that what you? Okay, so Dr. Acuff, my question for you, how do you see your work with us in working with the legislative branch and what that assessment looks like? Will it, am I phrasing that correctly for you, or?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I think certainly, I mean, I'm doing work for the city. I mean, the city council is hiring me, but I
Sure.
mean, I think I have good relationships with everybody on both sides of the legislative and executive side of things. So, I mean, when it comes to like getting information and, you know, proposing recommendations and things like that, I mean, certainly I would consider, I guess, the feasibility of certain recommendations, policies, stuff like that. You know, I think there are things that you all discussed in your, you know, the budget sessions even this summer that you all considered, you know, working on longer term. I mean, I think, you know, Councilman Henderson mentioned, you know, introducing, you know, certain percentage increases in tax rates over time versus just, you know, block things. I know, you know, several members of the administration had discussed things like indexing, you know, certain increases to inflation and things like that. So I think those are types of recommendations that certainly I could prepare and look at, but I think would serve maybe both interests. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a problem to work, you know, with both the administration and council, but certainly, I guess in this context, I'll be working for you.
Sure.
Yeah.
But with your research
Sure.
and your research and analysis, would that include conversations and input from data points you may need from the administration, i.e. the CFO, Weston, other than what's already in our audit from Stan?
So, I mean, a lot of the information would come from the audit. I mean, certainly I would appreciate, you know, some information as needed.
Gotcha.
And I don't think, you know, anyone I've ever worked in the past would, you know.
Would have any
would have a problem with
hesitancy to that?
Yeah.
Okay, last question, Councilwoman Donnelly. Policy recommendations for the city's future. Explain to me, especially for doing budget stuff, would some of those, like if you were to do an analysis or do your research, would some of those policy recommendations could include or exclude budgetary cuts, i.e. a department, or would you come back and, I mean, I know that's bold, but I'm saying those policy recommendations from your research, would that include recommending budget cuts to any line items or departmental programs? I know there's somewhere in the scope of your work, you did a grant. Could you go back to the first slide, Rick? There's something about a grant analysis, which I'm really intrigued by, but that grant impact, that word impact, will your policy, we actually have to vote to accept grants. In your policy recommendations, would you, after doing those analyses, would those recommendations include cuts?
So, I mean, I don't intend to make, I mean, certainly that's under council's purview. So, I mean, I certainly wouldn't recommend, you know, necessarily making cuts to things. I would say, you know, hey, if there are certain departments or there are certain initiatives that are growing at an exponential rate versus other departments or things like that, that's certainly something you might want to look at. You know, but I mean, certainly y'all make the decisions about.
Sure, we do. But I'm saying if your policy recommendation would be that based off KPIs of this program you don't find effective, would you make a policy recommendation that item needs to be excluded from the budget?
Yeah, so the intent isn't necessarily to make, you know, recommendations based on like performance metrics. So I'm not necessarily, you know, saying, hey, this department's not performing at a certain level. I mean, that's also something we can do later, but that's not within the scope of this. This is really just looking at the financials and growth and, you know, expenditures per capita, you know, things of that nature, to look at trends, not necessarily the impact a certain department or program is having. Again, I think that's a separate project.
I think that's a conversation that could use some more expounding on as it relates to how you determine what the financial health is, as far as like what policies you would recommend, but we could, you know, continue those conversations later. I yield back. Thank you, Dr. Acuff.
All right, thank you so much, Councilman Clark, and thank you, Councilman Elliott, for your patience. All right, Councilman Elliott. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Councilman Henderson, I really appreciate you for bringing this up. I think it's always good for us to pull back the hood, and I agree that I do not want us to find ourselves in the same position we just got out of. And, you know, I've said this before and I proposed it, that it is good for council to have its own research arm in some form or fashion. And Dr. Acuff, I appreciate you being willing to step up and provide those services. I do have some concerns. The first, and this goes back to something that Councilman Manola and I presented months ago, and I hope we can revisit this. I think it is necessary for us to have our own staff in-house to help us with these type of things. $200 an hour is a lot of money. We can probably get a lot more stretch for what we're not only work now, but future work to come at a much more efficient rate. Where we are now, we don't have it in place. So I'm not barking at that right now, but I want to keep that in the back of everybody's mind as these conversations continue, because we plan on circling back to those conversations again. But I think this budget conversation has shown the tremendous need that this council really needs some help with policy work on the back end. And so that's one thing I want to keep in the back of our minds. Not knocking you, brother, you gotta get your money. And so your rate's your rate, but you know, $200 could go a lot farther in government for an hour. So just saying. Councilman Clark hit on something that I'm also curious about. You know, it's hard for council members to get information sometimes. Council members have even had to do open records requests to get stuff from time to time. I'm curious how we're going to, how you're going to be able to get all of the information you need. And Phil, if I'm not mistaken, there's fees that go towards open records requests too.
There are, depending on how that is achieved in there, and if it's a per page type item on there, there's a reference for that as well.
Because I'm not for certain, because I haven't heard from the administration yet, how open they are to somebody else digging into the back office of what they have going on. It can be easily said at one point, where they were like, okay, we're not going to give you this. You can go do a FOIA request. And that's not reflected in this proposal as to what those potential costs could be. And in order to do your job effectively, you know, where is the administration's opinion on this? Is maybe a Kevin question. Like, where are your thoughts on this? How well is administration going to be able to work with this person to come in? Going into the future, you know, if we have our own staff, it's a lot harder for them to snub internal staff on conversations like this, but this is a third party that I don't know if you have been in those conversations. I just don't know. I don't know what those conversations look like right now.
And just so I can respond before administration does, we did have a budget working group session that Kevin, Darren, Mandy, and Brian Smart with finance was a part of last Tuesday. I believe, yes, and Councilman Henderson. So we did have a budget working group. Administration is very cooperative, very open to it. A lot of research they have already, they do have most of the information. It's just a matter of compiling it in a way that we can use in one pot instead of having to, you know, grab and go and get information. So I know Kevin's about to say the same thing, but I wanted to reiterate that we did have our meeting last Tuesday and that we did discuss all of these things. And so they are open to it, which is, I mean, it was just sent to Councilman Henderson and myself, but our annual comprehensive report and all those things that we receive as council anyway, it'll just be utilizing all those things. So they are open to it, and I just wanted to kind of make people aware that there was a previous meeting that was publicly noticed. Okay, so it was publicly noticed and everything. So there was that meeting last week with the administration to make sure that we can all work together. So, and then Kevin, if you wanted to do a follow-up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Kevin Roy, Chief of Staff. Councilman Elliott, absolutely, we're happy to work with you guys on all of the initiatives that you're interested in pursuing. I would also point out that the city's financial information is not only exhaustive, but it's in its public availability, but it is subject to, so it's exhaustive in its public availability, but it's also subject to very stringent state regulations, which is why we have the Act for the Annual Comprehensive Finance Report in the first place. So, yes, we are happy to help make this vision a reality with you guys, and I think it will be pretty straightforward.
So I hear the administration they won't hesitate to release any and all information?
I would even say that there's not much information that has not already been released, but yes, we're happy to, of course, as in all things, be transparent with the public and with you guys, especially toward this initiative.
Fair enough. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. I think the next question I have, understanding the depth of, not only the city's finances and how complex that can be, but also the depth of pensions, which is a whole nother beast in itself. I think, Dr. Acuff, I'm curious on a couple things. The capacity for you to do all of this by January 6th, but also your experience digging into the weeds of government behind the scenes, in particular pensions and investment funds as well.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I'll be upfront, I am not an actuary, so it's not going to be to that level. I think what I was proposing was really more related to best practices, benchmarks, related to what funding level should be and what it would take you all to do to catch up to that. Now, like, in the ACFR, there are certain assumptions based on, actual estimates that you all have for outstanding liabilities and pensions, and within the ACFR, it's, we assume, X, Y, and Z based on these assumptions, based on this number of people and payrolls and things like that going forward. I think it's mostly based on projections, again, for like the next 5-10 years of say, hey, if we want to be at 70-80% funded or something like that 10 years from now, what does that look like? And then, based on revenues, then what other parts of the pie are then shrinking relative to the overall, revenues and expenditures, I guess. I do not intend as part of this project, and again, this is just a high level analysis. The intent is not to dig into, the actuarial aspects of the pension funds, which are, governed by separate processes and things like that. It was really just more related to the overall, like, bigger picture budget, I guess.
Okay.
All right.
One more, Madam Chair.
All right.
And something else that does concern me a little bit too is like we're looking at 5-10 years out, and in 3.5 years we're gonna get a new mayor with new priorities. And so how do we also account for changes we can't see and the accuracy of these numbers? Because what I don't want to do is get policy recommendations on something that may be drastically changing when we get a new administration in. And I know this is complex and it's hard, something to wrap our heads around just by the nature of our seats, and we're having to run every 4 years. And you can't really project what finance is going to look like. You can't project what inflation is going to look like. You can get a mayor that comes in that just slashes, I hope not, but slashes staff and everything else. We could be in a position where money's flowing in revenue-wise, and we don't have to touch taxes. We can be in a worse situation we are now. I think it's just so many moving parts to consider. I'm just wondering, how do you account for those and some of those things that are really just out of everybody's hands?
Sure. So I won't turn this into a stats class. There's a principle in econometrics and forecasting, ceteris paribus, right? So all things being equal. So it assumes current and past conditions going forward. So certainly, caveats that I don't know when the next recession's coming. I don't, and no economist does, nobody does, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't be standing here. I'd probably be a billionaire cashing in on my stock somewhere. But I think the, policy recommendations going forward, I think, are certainly things you can carry with any council or any administration. Again, building in certain indices related to inflation, looking at longer-term financial projections related to, how do we need to ramp up to get where we want to in terms of funding, pensions at a certain level. I don't think those necessarily change administration to administration or council to council. I think those levels and benchmarks still stay the same. And again, I think one of the goals of this is to create a framework for you all to update this every year. Again, whether it's me, whether it's someone in the administration, whether it's someone else, but to look at what other cities are doing and again, find other cities that you can benchmark against and say, hey, here's where we are relative to other cities in our region, peer cities and aspirational cities. Here's where we want to be. So I think every year you all have the option to update tax rates. You all have the option to change departmental funding. You all have you can do line item changes. So I think, year to year, you can certainly make changes. I think, thinking next administration, next council, doesn't necessarily change that equation.
Okay, this is my last piece, and I'll be quiet for today, I promise.
Yeah, Councilman Elliott, we have a couple of more lights from other council members, so we want to make sure that we're able to get everybody in.
Okay.
Okay, all right, so we
Last
can,
few questions.
last question.
If I got another, we'll see.
Yeah, we will.
But, I think largely, I think this is needed. We got to kind of figure out how we don't fall into this trap again. And, I'm not necessarily against your work. I have some questions how it's going to live out. I want to see the methodology that goes through crafting some of these recommendations and analyses so we can kind of see what back-end work went into how do we get to those solutions. And let's just go from there.
All right, thank you so much, Councilman Elliott. Councilman Harvey, followed by Councilwoman Burrs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, just a few questions in a point. When we get to the end of this, and maybe this is just a point to make, is I'd like to request we do a education session on the final report. The last thing we want to do is spend $16,000 and then it just goes sit on a shelf. So a good point being made is, we need to talk about it and make a plan for it. Mm-hmm. The second thing is, Dr. Acuff, how, and maybe this is a Chip question, or Councilman Henderson, sorry, yeah, I do like you. How did we land on you, and kind of give us maybe a quick bio and why we should go with you and why this is beneficial. Sorry to kind of put you on the spot, but
no, that's fine. Yeah,
welcome to your
as
interview.
An academic, I'm really bad at the sales pitches. I guess otherwise I'd be in the private sector. Yeah, so, I'm an associate professor at UTC. I was born and raised in Chattanooga. I know Chattanooga intimately. I've been back here for a number of years. I teach classes in public budgeting and finance. I'm a certified municipal finance officer. I understand the intricacies of all these things. I've taken more statistics classes than I care to admit because I'm a huge nerd. But I've done work with the city, with the county, with CARTA, others before. And so, again, the engagement letter includes that provision where, you're able to identify a certain person with expertise. And I'm not unbiased, but I would say that I have, probably better expertise than most people, and to be able to do this, understanding both the financial side, the statistics side, the political, environmental side of what goes on here in Chattanooga.
Okay. How'd you find it?
Oh, yeah, Councilman Henderson. Okay, Councilman Burrs, I'm gonna hit your light again.
So
Okay,
we-
Councilman Henderson.
Oh,
Go ahead.
you want me to answer? Okay. We did use Dr. Acuff 2 years ago when we did the revisions to our short-term vacation rental ordinance. He was very helpful in giving us some analysis of, what other cities were doing, what different graphs showing concentration of, where short-term vacation rental was. So we used him then, and it was immensely helpful in helping craft the current legislation that we have right now. So he does have some history. I think you've also done some work with the RPA, correct? So I think he has maybe some knowledge about what we think future growth would be like in Chattanooga, which I thought would be helpful in understanding what we what we feel like our growth revenues would be. So he has some history with at least a prior council, working with the city and some intimate knowledge with other branches of government within the city.
Okay.
All right, Councilman Harvey?
Yeah,
Okay.
am I still on?
Now you are.
Okay.
One more time.
Okay. Okay, good. So have you always been a third party hired by the city, or have you ever worked directly for the city in any capacity?
No, I've never worked for the city. Before I came back to UTC, I was a research analyst for the state.
Okay.
Yeah, so after I finished my PhD, I worked for the state of Tennessee as a
Okay.
research analyst.
All right, very good. And my last question, and this is the one I'm anticipating on getting the most, is this something that we can handle in-house? No offense, I mean, I think, I've heard you're a great guy and you do good things. And if it's not something we can do in-house with the finance office, then what is the justification? And I don't know if that's.
Good question.
Absolutely.
I guess I need to raise.
Okay. Yes, go ahead, Councilman Henderson.
I've got my hand. You want to hit my
Instead of
leg?
hitting, okay, there you go.
So I felt like it was important for this council to have their own independent researcher and to kind of piggyback on what Councilman Elliott was talking about. If we had somebody in the house, we could do it through that method. But I feel like this is research that this council is specifically putting their fingerprints on and asking for different types of analysis, and he's working with this council. So this is independent from what maybe the administration would give us, so that we're developing our own independent research and analysis, and then that way we can make decisions based on that. I just felt like it was important for us to have our own research mechanism.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Councilman
Thank you, Councilman Henderson. Yeah, I just trying to ask the hard questions while we're discussing this. I kind of equate this to getting a second opinion with your physician when it comes to your health. And so, overall, I think this is a good thing to really take a deep dive and let's figure this out and do it the right way. So especially when we're making decisions on, hundreds of millions of dollars. So yeah, I think it's a good thing to take a look, and it sounds like you're the guy for the job. So I may have some more difficult questions, but for now, that's all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilman Harvey. And then Councilwoman Burrs.
Thank you, Madam
Yes,
Chair.
thank you. And thank you for your
I just
patience.
have one question. When are we going to be making this decision and voting on this?
Oh, we'll be voting on it today, unless y'all want to defer it another week or something. But we'll need to get it, as the administration is gearing up for preparing their budget, we want to make sure that we're getting this information as soon as possible. So that's up to you all today. I was going to ask for a vote today, a motion to approve based on a hourly rate of $200 in an amount not to exceed $20,000 was going to be the ask today based on the recommendation from Councilman Clark. But if we want to or need to defer it an extra week, we can. Can we vote on it today? Okay, so we could vote on it today according to our city attorney, or if we wanted to wait an additional week. Would that push out, Dr. Acuff, would that push out the draft report date an extra week if we voted out an extra week or 2 weeks or to that effect?
No, I don't think so. As a matter of transparency, since, I'm a full-time professor, I think the bulk of the work would probably be in the off-season in December anyway. So, certainly I'm going to get started on it, as soon as possible, doing some preliminary stuff. But I think as far as preparing the report and things like that, a lot of the bulk of the work was designed to be over the next 2 months, and then get it to you by the new year.
Okay, that works. And Dr. Acuff, in the presentation, in the proposal, I can't recall if we had an education session listed in there for you to come and recap for city council?
Sure, I mean, that was built in. So I built in meetings, interviews, presentation, like people I need to discuss with
Okay.
Votes Administration Council, get feedback, et cetera.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, similar to what Councilman Henderson mentioned, and, I know you were party to this, but, last time I did this with short-term rentals, I came every month or so, I mean, so again, I assume that I will be part of the process going forward. It wouldn't just be I'll drop it in your lap and run back up the hill or whatever, so.
Right, okay, that's fine. Okay, Councilwoman Burrs. Question?
I'm good, thank you.
Oh, okay, all
Yeah,
right then. I thought you- Okay, all right, any other questions from council? Okay, so with that, you all, thank you, Dr. Acuff, thank you so much, Councilman Henderson, this is something that is much needed for council to have their own toolkit, their own information, and, yeah, well, point. Okay.
I think before we make a motion and take a vote, I would like to, I guess, know if there are some council people that would rather wait a week. I mean, so that you can maybe digest. Madam Chair, I think everybody did get
They
the
did,
proposal ahead of time. But if there's some that need a little bit longer, I guess, to decide what they'd like to do, I think I'd rather know that now as before we make a motion to, and then,
okay. So council, what is your pleasure? Do you want to give it an extra week for some of you all to go ahead and review that information? Or are we ready for a vote today?
Cody has a question.
Councilman Harvey.
Dr. Acuff, how long do you anticipate you need to put this together? Will it, if we do digest this for a week, will that put you behind? What does that look like?
Yeah, I don't think it would significantly impact the deliverables. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, if you certainly want to think about it for a week, I mean, that's totally fine with me. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so, okay, I'm sorry, Councilman Clark?
I'm okay with voting today, other than, I guess, maybe having a more comprehensive understanding of why we would like to delay a week. I know Councilwoman Burrs mentioned not having received it. Is that the reasoning?
Yes.
It's fine. Dialogue, please. It's fine.
Okay,
Yeah, that would not make a difference in my voting today or not.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
okay,
I'm fine with voting today if that's the will of everyone else.
okay. All right, council, so with that, I get back to.
I'm going to yield with my colleague who prefers to wait. So I'd like to wait
Okay.
a week, if that's okay with you, Madam Chair.
All right, that is fine. So we will vote on this next week. And again, the motion for next week will be to approve this based on an hourly rate of $200 in an amount not to exceed $20,000 based on the proposal we've received. Any other questions or comments? All right, thank you so much, Dr. Acuff. I appreciate you. And thank you again, Councilman Henderson. We appreciate you for bringing this forward. Madam Chair, what is the break? 20 minutes, so we'll return back at 55.
4:55.
4:55. We recess until 4:55. Yeah. Make it 5? Just go ahead and make a solid 5 o'clock. Okay, we'll recess until 5 o'clock.
We are back in session. Madam Clerk, will you read ordinances on the final reading, 7A?
An ordinance closing and abandoning a portion of the unopened right-of-way and part of the unit block of Rose Circle as detailed on the attached map subject to certain conditions.
Councilman Henderson.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion to approve with the proper second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, if without objection from the council family, if you will do 7B and C as a package.
Item B, an ordinance closing and abandoning a sanitary sewer easement in the 1600 block of East 3rd Street beginning at MH number S146G020, then southeastwardly 290.3 feet to MH number S146G024 for a total of 290.3 linear feet, tax map number 146GA001, as detailed on the attached map subject to certain conditions. Item C, an ordinance closing and abandoning a sanitary sewer easement in the 600 block of Vine Street beginning at MH number S145D902, then southeastwardly 475 feet to MH number S145D823 for a total of 475 linear feet. Tax map number 146AB001 is detailed on the attached maps subject to certain conditions.
This is in the Great District 8. If one of the council family will approve that for me. All right, we have a motion to approve with the proper seconds. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, on the planning, 7D.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance so as to lift conditions from ordinance number 11615, or previous case number 2004-0154, from properties located in the 7500 through 7600 block of Magnolia Leaf Lane.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion to approve with the proper second. Any questions or concerns? Please hit your light. All in favor say aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
I was like,
Okay, I'm sorry. I drew a blank there for a minute. I was like, what? Okay, Madam Clerk, if you will read item 7D.
Just that D, we're on E now.
E, 7E.
Yes, ma'am.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone part of a property located at 5749 Lovell Field Loop from IH Industrial Heavy Zone to OS Office Space Zone.
We have a motion to approve with the proper second. Any questions or concerns? Oh, I'm so pleased hit your light. Okay, I'm sorry. All in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Oh, motion carries. Oh, okay, motion carries. Madam Clerk, 7F, correct?
Yes.
Oh, praise God.
Yes, ma'am.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 7406 Tyner Road from RN2 Residential Neighborhood Zone to CC Commercial Corridor Zone subject to certain conditions.
Have a motion to approve with the proper second. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Oh, yes, the motion carries. It's a combination from the Sprite. 7G.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 38, the Chattanooga zoning ordinance as adopted by ordinance number 14137 on July 23, 2024, to amend Article 17, short-term vacation rentals by amending the short-term vacation rental overlay district map and boundaries to include an additional area within City Council District 5.
Councilman Clark.
motion to approve.
There's a motion with the proper second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, 7H.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, the Chattanooga zoning ordinance as adopted by ordinance number 14137 on July 23, 2024, to add clarity on additions in the form-based code and refine minimum planting requirements for buffer yards.
Okay, we have a motion to approve with the proper second. Questions or concerns? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, ordinances on the first reading. Office of the City Attorney, 8A.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 35, Section 35160, Billing and Charges for District Records.
I have a motion to approve with the proper second. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye. All those in favor say aye.
I'm sorry. Aye.
Hold on a second. I'm gonna need for you all to pay attention.
I'm so
Okay? Everyone, pay attention, please.
I'm so
So
sorry.
we are not doing this. Okay, everybody what? Sprite and Coke combination? Okay, let's go. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Lord have mercy, Jesus. Okay. Under resolution, Mayor's Office, Madam Clerk, items 9A through C without objection from council family as a package.
Item A, a resolution confirming Mayor Kelly's reappointment of Sarah Brogdon to the Form-Based Code Committee for a term beginning on September 1, 2025, and ending on August 31, 2028. Item B, a resolution confirming Mayor Kelly's appointment of Javier Peralta Ramas to the Form-Based Code Committee for a term beginning on October 22, 2025, and ending on October 21, 2028. Item C, a resolution confirming Mayor Kelly's appointment of Lindsay Wilkie to the Form-Based Code Committee for a term beginning on October 22, 2025, and ending on October 21, 2028.
All right, we have a motion to approve with a proper second. All of those, any questions or concerns? All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, thank you. Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, Office of the City Attorney, 9D, please.
A resolution amending Resolution Number 28466, adopting a revised record and information management policy and revised records retention schedule for the City of Chattanooga.
Okay, we have a motion to approve with the proper second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, if you would read 9E.
A resolution authorizing the reassignment of existing contracts for NCR Voyix Corporation to TSYS Merchant Solutions LLC, a global payments company, due to the acquisition of NCR Voyix Corporation by TSYS Merchant Solutions LLC, and directing all future contracts, obligations, rights, and responsibilities to be transferred to TSYS Merchant Solutions LLC, effective upon adoption of this resolution.
We have a motion to approve with the proper second. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, 9F.
A resolution authorizing the chief of police to apply for and, if awarded, accept a grant from the Stanton K-9 Foundation, which honors the lives of K-9s lost in the line of duty, to fund the purchase of a new K-9 and bulletproof vest for an amount up to $15,000.
Second?
Okay, we had a couple move to approve with the proper second. Any questions or concerns? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Councilman Henderson, did you have your light?
Well, just make a motion.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you. Motion carries. Madam Clerk, 9G.
A resolution authorizing the chief of police to accept equipment one as a door prize at the Kentucky Tactical Officers Association Conference, which equipment is a Penn Arms L-144 compact 40-millimeter launcher and Penn Arms Savior equipment launcher gun bag to be used by SWAT, valued at $1,700.
Move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve with the proper second. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We've come to purchases. Mrs. Tally, hello.
Hello. Good evening, council. I have 6 purchases recommended for approval this evening. The first one is from Fleet. This is a one-time purchase of 10 emergency lighting packages for police vehicles. This purchase from Federal Signal will be in the amount of $58,710 and will be purchased utilizing the state of Tennessee contract. Number 2 is from Fleet. This is a one-time purchase of a cat skid steer from Stowers Machinery to be used by wastewater in the amount of $125,639.93. This purchase will be utilizing the state of Tennessee contract. Number 3 is from Fleet. Fleet is requesting an increase of $2,000 to purchase order PUR 149736 due to the model year cost adjustments. The new estimated amount will be $85,450. Number 4 is for Fleet. Year 4 renewal. On-duty depot is requesting a 10.3% increase due to increased costs of manufacturing and tariffs. Truckers Lighthouse is requesting an 8% increase due to the cost of manufacturing. The new estimated annual spend will be $171,500. Public Works has approved the increase. Number 5 is for Technology Services. This is a new blanket agreement for IT, research, and advisory services. This will be a 2-year agreement not to exceed $54,443. The award will go to Gardner Group utilizing the state of Tennessee contract. Number 6 is for Community Health. Council approval is requested for a name change from Chattanooga Cares DBA Kempa Community Care to LifeSpring Community Health for agreement PA 100336.
We have a motion to approve with the proper second. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, I have an emergency purchase to report. This is for police. Police is requesting an emergency purchase of 69 new workstations due to the widespread mold issue at the Police Services Center. I also have one sole source to report. This is for early learning. Early learning is requesting an increase of $550 to PUR 153813 to include an expedite fee. The new total amount will be $40,047. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will move into community reports. Councilman Elliott. Councilwoman Dottley? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you so much, Madam Chair. We did have a budget committee meeting today to discuss a budget research proposal with Dr. Acuff, brought to us by Councilman Henderson. We will have another budget committee meeting next week just to vote on that. So council, if you get opportunity, please review the information. If you have questions or anything, reach out to Councilman Henderson. And I just thank y'all so much. Thank you, Madam Chair. That is it.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Burrs.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have an announcement. The annual Midtown Connect Fall Festival, it's the 3rd annual, will be this Saturday, October 25th at the Kitchen Incubator of Chattanooga from 5 to 8. We'll, last year, we gave candy out to over 4,000 kids.
Wow.
And so it's a great trunk or treat. If you don't have any other plans Saturday night, I invite all of you all to attend. Anybody that's watching, please come and see the magic at the Fall Festival and at the Kitchen Incubator. It's from 5 to 8 again on October 25th.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Henderson. Thank you. Councilman Hart.
No report.
Councilman Clark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have a report to announce that we will be suspending our Community Development Committee meetings for November and December. To resume in January, though, for the rest of the year. Also, Madam Chair, I'd like to also announce I will be excusing myself early after this report because the new Food City on Highway 58 is opening. And I will be, thank you. And I'll be participating in some remarks and ribbon cutting on behalf of our wonderful city. Councilwoman Burns, you'll be happy to know that my residents will be leaving Lee Highway to use our own new Food City on 58. So we're excited about that. A lot of our District 5 residents, thank you. We love you. But yeah, so we have a new Food City opening, soft opening tomorrow. And I know the city attorney actually has an announcement regarding Food City, so I'll yield to the city attorney.
All right, but I don't give you permission.
Oh.
But yeah, okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. And there was a certificate of compliance that was presented to the council this evening as well. You previously had a certificate of compliance for KVAT Food Stores, Inc., DBA Food City 706 at 4510 Highway 58 in District 5 on September the 9th. And the folks from the Tennessee Alcohol Beverage Commission wanted us to have a new one signed here referencing TCA 573806. And that particular establishment meets all of the compliance of the requirements of the city code as we announced to you back on September the 6th. And it still continues to do so, or September the 9th. And that's the reason we were going to send them another document here tomorrow so that they will be able to do their grand opening without any problem. Just learned about this today, so we wanted to make sure that was completed.
Okay, thank you,
Thank you,
Attorney.
Mr. Attorney.
Yes, sir.
And I have no report except, again, happy birthday, Councilwoman Dottley. Yes. So we've come to the part where anyone that wishes to address the council, please line up at the podium. Bye, Councilman Clark. Yeah.
Yes.
So if Attorney Noblett will read the rules and regulations.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry,
Before
while
we
I was
start.
speaking just then, the computer has locked me out again as it does frequently. And I will try to get right back on here in
That's
just a
okay,
moment.
take your time.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir, for your patience.
Yes.
I have some handouts. I can do that while we're waiting.
Yeah, you can pass them on that end of it. At the end of each council business meeting, the chair will recognize members of the public who wish to address the council, and here's your rules. Each speaker wishing to address the council can only be recognized at the microphone up front for that purpose. Can't have more than 3 minutes to speak, and you can address the council only upon matters within their legislative and quasi-judicial authority and not on matters which are not under their authority or regulated by other governmental bodies or agencies. Don't engage in any vulgar or obscene language nor use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others. Address your comments to the council as a whole and not towards individual council members. And lastly, do not engage in disorderly conduct or disrupting a public meeting which is prohibited by Tennessee law. Someone commits that offense if a person substantially obstructs or interferes with the meeting by physical action or verbal utterance with the intent to prevent or disrupt a lawful meeting or gathering. Having stated those rules, please go ahead, sir.
Will you state your name and district, please?
My name is Benjamin Fleet. I live in District 2. And Just wanted to bring to your attention, there have been a lot of pedestrian and cyclists getting hit by cars recently in Chattanooga. In the past few months, the Chattanooga Police Department has put out multiple press releases related to this issue, in addition to bringing attention to speeding and reckless driving in busy areas around downtown. They specifically called out the problem of drag racing on Market Street Bridge. This month, the CPD posted on Facebook highlighting the increase in pedestrians and cyclists being hit. So this clearly is something they care about. It's on their mind and they want to fix it. I would love to see more collaboration between the Chattanooga Police Department and other departments within the city to do more than just enforcement campaigns, which are helpful, but only one piece of the puzzle. Decisions made by the mayor's office along with Public Works and CDOT directly impact the safety of pedestrians, cyclists, and drivers in the city of Chattanooga. The printouts you have in front of you list by district the 29 pedestrian-struck incidents in Chattanooga over the past 3.5 weeks. That is more than one pedestrian or cyclist being hit by a vehicle every single day in the city, and this only includes ones that resulted in 911 calls. Only a few of these have made the news. Some had tragic endings. Others are kind of unknown injuries and hospitalizations. But all of them are life-altering and in some cases life-ending events. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is John LaRosa. I live in District 2. And I also wanted to talk about our unsafe roads for pedestrians and cyclists and really anyone who's not in a car. So these incidents that Benjamin just talked about start in September 25th, and the Chattanooga Police Department released numbers that go through the end of August that show 71 non-fatal pedestrian strikes and 38 non-fatal bicyclist strikes. So you can add these, how many was it? 30?
29.
29. You can add these 29 to that. So we're up well over 100 now for pedestrians and cyclists struck in 2025. And that actually doesn't even include most of September. And of those, we've had 2 fatal bicyclist strikes and 5 fatal pedestrian strikes. I was here within the last 30 days to also talk about putting the Market Street Bridge on a diet. There's a constant speeding problem. The lanes are too narrow. It's just not safe for anyone, not drivers either. There are, right now, as we speak, on the northbound side, there are a number of bollards that have been completely taken out by cars. Public Works replaces them. They're probably sick of replacing them, and we have to pay them every time they replace them. If we would reduce the number of lanes on that road, put a more permanent guardrail there to keep pedestrians on the sidewalk safe, it would go a long way towards making that bridge safer. As Benjamin was saying, enforcement is one of the ways to reduce people from speeding on that bridge, but there's only so much enforcement we can do. The police have limited resources, and the other component is changing the road design, which is what we're talking about here. The third component is education, and changing driver's ed to help drivers understand the dangers of speeding and how deadly high-speed collisions would help. But we don't have that much ability to do that here. What we can change, and can change easily and for not a lot of cost, is the road design. And we've done it before. We've done it on Fraser. We've done it on other streets, and we can do it again. It doesn't have to be as dramatic as Fraser. And we're really just talking about very minimal infrastructure costs here. Over the next few weeks or so, I'm going to be putting together something more concrete. I'm going to be getting the neighborhood associations that are adjacent to the bridge and other neighborhood associations as well to get on board with this. And we're going to present it here. We're going to present it to the mayor, and we want change. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the council this evening? Okay, council family, seeing none, may I have a motion to adjourn? I have a motion with the proper second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.